big BFR kind of person. I did a lot with my knee, and started doing a little bit with my calf to just try and get some.
You never use anything for your hamstring?
A little bit. Actually, I'll tell a funny little story. So when I was doing rehab for my hamstring, I'd watched a little video from Sel Griffith.
Yep.
So he's a big hamstring guy. And I remember, because I had a lot of questions, and there was things I thought I should have been doing and had spoken to people that I trusted. And they're like, you really should be doing this stuff, B. So I remember I went and spoke to our S&C at Eagles, and I was like, can I do some blood flow, BFR stuff, blood flow restriction? And he was like, I don't know what that is. And I was like,
no way.
What do you mean you don't know what that is? Like, I was like, oh, you know when you cut off blood flow? Like, and he was like, oh, no.
Really?
I don't know if he just didn't care, because I literally saw like a couple of months later one of the other girls was doing it, but she had no idea what she was doing. And I was like, well, he obviously hasn't explained it to her. And I was like, what pressure do you have that on? She's like, oh, I just pumped it up. And I was like,
Jeez, she's got like big pins and needles down
and
her
then she
legs.
just kept walking around with it inflated. And I was like,
oh, no.
you can take it off when you finish doing the exercise that you're doing with it. And I was like, because I did my my honours on stuff with blood flow restriction.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, probably didn't quite pan out the way I wanted to. It was good learning. So I did it with Brendan Scott, who's obviously massive in that space. Anyway, and I said to my teammate, I was like, you can take it off. And I was like, you kind of want to have it at about 60% of like your blood flow. And I was like, so ideally, you take your pulse and feel when it cuts off, and then you work out your 60% off that. She was like, oh, I had no idea. And I was like, how did he not tell you this is what you were supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I tell our guys, I just tell them 7 out of 10 tightness.
Roughly. Yep.
Pull if you can put 2 fingers in there, pretty good.
But yeah, I was just like,
nobody's got time.
This was one of the first little issues that I had with our S&C at Eagles. And I was like, what do you mean? I don't know what it is.
That's interesting. So what was your honours? So what kind of?
Initially, we were going to do it with like soccer players and see how it impacted performance. So we had a heap of drills and stuff set up. We'd started it, but trying to get participants is like the hardest thing in the whole entire world. And like, I think at the time, I didn't really take into account, but nobody really taken into account that I was like an elite athlete. So I couldn't be there at nighttime, which is when everyone else kind of trains, because I had to be at training. So we were real struggling. So then I ended up doing it. So we started it, but didn't quite finish that project. Ended up using some like old NERS data. And then, what does that even stand for anymore? It was like something about, blood and neurologically and the motor patterns and stuff. I should probably know, but I haven't looked at it since I submitted it. Anyway, and then it was just basically like resistance exercise with blood flow restriction and how that affects the neurological pathways.
And then that go train or?
This was in like
that's not a part of that.
No, this was a separate. So that we kind of parked the initial honours because we were just going to run out of time, unfortunately. So that would have been really cool, but I didn't get to finish it. But
so how would that have worked? So they would have done like a blood flow restriction and then done some exercise and then gone trained?
Yeah. So the way that the drills that we did it in the conditions. You did all the things like normal, no blood flow. Mm-hmm. So we had like the Luxembourg agility test. Then we had like this shooting drill. So you'd call out different colors and they'd have to shoot to the boards that were that color and look at the accuracy and stuff. So we were filming it. Do that with blood flow restriction, without blood flow restriction. And then we did Gabbett and whatever designed it like that running protocol where you run, change direction, zigzag.
Is it Pat's agility?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So we did those 3 things. So you did them twice, non-blood flow restriction, and twice with blood flow restriction. And we're just kind of looking at like the changes in performance. And then we were going to do like a small-sided game to look at blood flow restriction again there, but we just kind of ran out of time. But it was mainly looking at how it affected their skills and whether then you could implement maybe potentially training, like soccer training with blood flow restriction on to kind of get that double whammy, like, obviously because it improves like your resistance training and stuff like that. So try and do that at the same time as you're training.
That's interesting.
Yeah, never.
Like a potentiation effect kind of.
Yeah. To see, you get the best of both worlds was kind of the aim, but obviously we never really.
That's unfortunate. It didn't work out.
I know, because it was I really wanted to do something sport based, and in the end I wrote about old people and how their body worked better when they had blood flow restriction, which pretty much is what all papers said. Like, you cut off the blood flow, then you end up getting more, so you increase muscle.
All the boys who have had hamstring injuries down at our club have used it. Yeah. It's a big part of our hamstring reconditioning.
I think it should be as well. And with the ACL and stuff as well, like I did a lot of it then. Because obviously, getting that quad activation and hamstring activation is quite hard. So and you can't always load it up, especially early days. So just
we do
put a pump on.
Well, a few of our guys who've had either they might be compromised through their back and they might have to do lighter squats or something. They just put that on and use that as like a bit of a counteracting their load difference, like because it's a chemical overload rather than a biomechanical overload of
100%
of the tissue. So we use it that way. There's lots of different ways. Sometimes I use it in our isometrics. There's a little case study that came out in Alex and Tira's little he has a little YouTube channel.
Yep.
And he has a little case study, and Chris Cavillo did a little video on there about he had a guy with he had tendonitis, patella tendonitis.
Yep.
And had a block of 4 weeks where he did traditional like kind of exercise for that injury.
Yep.
And then he did another block. We're doing the same exercise but with blood flow. And there was no difference in the first 4 weeks. And then in the last 4 weeks, this amazing difference just because of
the blood flow.
You'd think that was the cause, but you never can really be sure. There was 5 different things that happened. But that was one of the differences between the 2 blocks. And that's what the results showed. He came out and these athlete performed or something like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting kind of perspective.
I remember a little one that I stole from that Cell Griffiths thing. Ryan and I did it together. Well, he watched me do it. Like you do like single leg bridges and then you would like walking squat lunges with the blood flow restriction.
The we do that. It's 10, I think it's like 10 or 20 squats, 10 meters, 10 lunges, walkouts.
I think they had, like
sweeps,
inchworms and stuff like that. Yeah.
Inchworms,
oh my God. I did 3 rounds of that and I was like, my leg definitely feels bigger because I was exhausted.
Did you put both legs or just the one leg?
I just did the one leg, yeah.
I tell the guys. I tell the guys to do it on both because if you get one leg big, you walk around in circles, just
roll around.
Then it goes
one swole leg.
Shut up, mate. Shut up, Matty. Dickhead. You're like what are these things you got now? Fucking. Oh. They say things I shouldn't repeat on this podcast.
Oh, well.
We can swear, but we won't be saying what they call them.
No, probably. Definitely
for the
not
best. Pray for the best. My mum's listening, so I have to be careful. No, but all the guys who come back from probably the early stages, because it's anecdotally, I think Selwyn said the same thing. Anecdotally, it's a lot of us for pain relief as well. Like just mentally get some.
I think the mental side of it is the biggest thing. Like if you don't believe you can do it, then it doesn't matter how functionally you can do it.
Or even if you're
not confident to.
You're walking around, you're always like touching your hammy.
Yeah, if you're
that bugs me all the time.
Hyper aware of it.
Then, that bugs me.
Which I think like happened to a couple of our girls, like no one's fault, but like obviously you ask like, hey, how's the pain in your whatever? Then they're just always thinking about it. And I don't know how you'd get around that because you have to ask, but
I'll stop asking.
I was like, you're just making them think about it. Is your hamstring sore? Or I don't know. Like, is it?
Should it be? Should it be?
Yeah. Should it be sore?
That's why I don't very rarely, if they say if there's something wrong, then you would know if something wrong because like you look at your GPS metrics and that, and then if someone's not sprinting or you expect this run's gonna get somewhere, some high speed running into it, and they don't, well, then that's when I go like, oh, how's your hammy?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, actually, it is a bit sore. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well,
probably from your GPS numbers. Your GPS numbers actually say that, so let's go do something different. Or
well, it's good that you actually did high speed running and looked at them.
Well,
some people
you would have thought that. Well, we have like our hamstring program reconditioning kind of phase. It's the first kind of phase is that general kind of strength and early kind of running, and then as soon as they kind of tick off a bit of, you get your speed up above 15 k's an hour. Phase 2. And then we kind of try to accumulate load in 18 to 26 k's in that little bracket. And then once we go into phase 3, then it's about like let's get some load above 26 k's an hour, get some speed in there. And then as well as like your gym kind of the lifts get a little bit complex.
Yeah.
I start Nordics as early as I can. I just like same thing, Nordics with the band.
Yep.
Until they can get them into with no band and actually start to do it properly. And then might overload it, so I'll do like RDL drop catches.
Yep.
Just RDL with little pulse at the
they're so fun.
Challenging.
I started doing them recently. Best exercise. I should have been doing them a long time ago, but again,
have you played around with reverse hyperextensions?
Oh, no. We used to have one at Ludus, and then Ryan used to be the only person that used it, and it was just taking up a lot of space. We got rid of it, but they are good. I can see the benefit of them. Yep, GHD holds. Yep, they're good. Or just standard GHDs. Good.
You can do little like ISO holds and then do little pulse drop catches as well.
Yep.
I also don't mind doing you do the single leg, but also do like out of rotation. So then it involves a little bit of medial groin, well, adductor in there as well. That's obviously when you're sprinting, it acts as a fourth ham, or deep flexion gives you a little bit of fourth hamstring.
Yep, agreed.
Help them. So that's why I always say boys who have sore groins don't squat deep. Well, usually I don't like them jacking like we would do box squats. I don't like them jacking up too high.
No, because then they just all.
Yeah, you're just doing knee bends then.
Yeah, we're not jumping. I saw a good post on that the other day, and I was like, "This is perfect." So I was like, "Look how high this box is," and they're jumping well. And then the next one was super high, and it's like, "Oh look, they just lifted their knees up higher."
yeah.
I think it was from Athletes Authority. They're good. They're good. Those guys.
Shout out Lockie Beaumont and Carl.
Yep. If I ever go to Sydney, I would definitely like just roll in there and be like, "Hey,
do it." I'll set you up.
Oh, do you know them? Like,
I got Lockie's number, and Lockie's a good man.
Yeah,
they're happy to have you down. Come down for that. When I went down for the play conference, so I just went there and sat up in those little red chairs they used to have.
That's so good. They're set up.
They're even that well set up that they've got little ice tubs and hot tubs.
Yeah, and they have those little space pant, or whatever they're called, those pant things.
Have you used them before?
Yeah, we had them at the club. They were pretty cool.
Use them much?
A little bit. Use a Game Ready a lot, which is pretty similar, but obviously more localized. So it's like this little ice machine. You then plug it in, strap it around. So I'm going to use my knee because that's where I've had it a lot on. Strap it around there, so then it like pumps up through the tube and it's like, and then it fills up with ice.